Welcome to Leaseweb Tech Talk, the podcast exploring tech landscape, cloud hosting, and IT infrastructure. Whether you're a professional or new to tech, Leaseweb Tech Talk got you covered. Join us for latest trend, business cases, insightful interviews, and useful tips. Hello everyone, so myself Pamily and I'm back again with another cloud storage topic. The hottest debate out there currently is either to have on-premise storage or to have the cloud storage. And today we will be breaking that down for you because it's a big decision for any organization to choose either to go for cloud storage or to go for on-prem storage. I have Gabriele with me, the cloud expert, which you guys might know by now, who is a product manager for our cloud storage here at Leaseweb. So Gabriele, the hottest topic out there, to have cloud storage or to have the on-prem storage. Let's break it down for everyone. To start with, I want to know, what is on-prem storage?
On-premise storage is, as the name implies, is storage that resides physically in your data center or your infrastructure directly.
Is it something like colocation?
No.
Okay.
It's simply storage that you want to have as next as possible as to you. Okay. That's the main objective of on-premise storage, and it was the go-to decision for many years since the introduction of data storage itself. Because for obvious reason, it was not possible to reliably access storage remotely. Then with the improvement in bandwidth and connectivity, today we have cloud storage with the possibility to access this storage remotely. But of course, you need to take into consideration of factors like security and the cost, not only of the storage, but of the traffic itself. On-premise, in any case, remains a valid storage solution for many people and many companies for several different reasons. If you are an individual company, of course, you don't require a lot of data. Today, the on-premise direct attached storage, portable and very easy to use are the best solution for you. But if you are a small and medium company and you have maybe only one headquarters, then again, having on-premise storage, maybe a DAS or a NAS locally, again, it's a good solution for you. Then, if you scale up and you have multiple locations that your team needs to reach, then having cloud storage can be effective. However, there are many factors to take into consideration to taking this decision. If we speak about on-premise storage, imagine you really want everything locally. One of the best advantages you have with on-premise storage is absolute control. The data is exactly where you know where it is. Only you have access, and you have absolute total management of the infrastructure. So you know exactly the hardware, the connection, everything.
Yeah.
The problem is you are responsible for everything. Power, conditioning, eventual outage, backups, security, and so on. You're responsible for everything. And the more you scale up, the more problems you will face on any level.
It seems like it's a decision organization makes, and it comes with a heavy cost because it's a big investment.
It can become a big investment depending how much you want to scale, and you need to do your calculations correctly. I mean, are you sure you're going to need immediately that specific amount of data or not? And that's where the main advantage of cloud storage comes in. The main offers of cloud storage today provides pay per use.
Okay.
The storage grows with your request, and you're going to pay only for what you use. You don't need any upfront investment in order to have the storage you need. Maybe because you today, if you want an on-premise storage, you want 300 terabytes. But maybe the 300 terabytes will be utilized in a few years. So that's the main problem you're going to face. On top of this, support, outage, replacement parts. If you want to have the least downtime possible, you need to have already on-premise new drives, new controllers, new servers. These are all costs that can add depending on how much you want to be sure of your downtime. In case of cloud storage, all of these elements are taken care of by the cloud provider. So this is something you don't have to be worried about in the price of the cloud storage. This is included.
I will stop you there because we're already jumping to cloud storage. Before we move there, I want to understand because you did mention some advantages of on-prem and some challenges. What are the major setbacks for the on-prem storage?
The setbacks, like I said, is large upfront cost.
Okay.
Depending on how big you want to start, but you need to invest that money immediately.
Yeah.
And of course, this storage, once you buy it, it will degrade over time. So you need to have scalability plans. You need to be ready for the replacement, for the upgrades. You need to take into consideration how much you're going to spend for the power. Is your infrastructure be able to support the amount of power that your storage will require? Do you have enough connectivity? Maybe someone will connect to your storage remotely and it's on-premise. Do you have enough bandwidth? Yeah. Are you secure? Do you have any protection? Are you protected against DDoS or anything like that? This is something that you need to take into consideration and you need to invest in order to prevent this. Are you ready against any hardware failure? Do you have spare drives, spare controller, spare servers? Do you have a person that can take care of that in your company? Because in case of cloud storage, you pay a subscription and all of this is taken care of by the cloud provider.
Okay. And there is this whole statement that goes for on-prem storage that it gives you better security and better control because everything is under you. You are managing it. So is that a fact or myth?
Yes, that's actually a fact. I mean, everything is in your infrastructure. So unless you give the keys to someone you don't want to access, nobody can access. And of course, if your storage is connected to internet, you need to be very careful. But also in that case, you have control.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, in cloud storage, all of this is taken care of by the cloud provider. But at the same time, you don't have all the control you might want.
Okay.
That's of course a reality. You are basically giving your data to someone else.
Exactly.
Now, usually the cloud provider doesn't get access directly to your data per security policy, but it is something you need to understand. And of course, selecting a cloud storage, which is basically storing data in a remote location, there are several factors you need to take into consideration. One of these is, of course, the geographical location of the data. You want it, of course, as close as possible to you. But even in that case, you might have problems depending by the applications that you're going to utilize. This is why, especially today, with industries like the automotive, with the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, healthcare, the hybrid models are becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, before we go to hybrid model, Gabriele, well, I also want you to give some, because we have already touched a little bit into cloud storage, right? And past 3 episodes, we have already discussed a lot about cloud storage, but what are the major setbacks for cloud storage? Because I can imagine a high compliance industry going for on-prem storage, but what are the setbacks for, especially for the high compliance industry like fintech, insurance companies, or thinking about the healthcare? What are some setbacks or worries they have?
There are some challenges, of course, some setbacks that you need to take into consideration. First of all, the cost. While usually, depending by the volume you want to scale, cloud storage can have a lower cost, especially a much lower initial investment. It's important to keep track of the cost for both storage and traffic. Okay. These are important parameters that a company needs to take into consideration, that maybe at the beginning, depending by the cloud provider, you need to have transparency on those costs. This, of course, depends by the provider, so you need to make sure those prices are transparent before making your purchase. This can involve the storage cost, traffic cost, API cost, upload, download, all these kind of things that need to be calculated beforehand in order to have a clear cost plan beforehand. That's number one. Number two is latency. Depending by where you are going to store your data, If you are an American company, you don't want to store data in Europe and vice versa, because of course you need to take care of the access time to your material. The longer the distance, the longer the latency. So even if maybe you are saving cost in storing in a different location, if the latency will not allow you to efficiently manage your business, then it's useless. That's the other point.
And just to interrupt you a little bit there, we have been mentioning latency, the topic of latency many times. If you can explain what exactly latency is and what is the minimum seconds or minutes you'd count if it's high or low, because there are many people who would be a little bit confused. What is latency, high latency or low latency? I'm a dummy, so at least in a simple word, how would you explain that?
The latency, to put it simply, is the time you're going to take to access your data.
Okay.
And
what is the ideal time?
You would like. It would be preferable to measure that in milliseconds. However, this can increase even to several seconds depending where you are. Like I said, imagine you are here in Europe and you are accessing a file that is located in Japan. The distance, the sheer distance, it's going to take a few seconds in order for you to access that data. This is why today we use CDNs, we use Content Delivery Network to cache the most requested content closer to us in order to reduce these delays. Also, other factors are to be taken into consideration. For example, what kind of storage are you accessing remotely? Is it a solid state drive where the access is instantaneous, or is an old mechanical drive, or even worse, is an LTO library where you need to wait for the mechanized process to grab your data, to put in the reader, to search it and then give it back? In that case, you can even have minutes of waiting time. So there are a lot of factors to the consideration when you retrieve your data from a remote location, and all of these can influence latency.
Okay, so those are could be some major setbacks for the cloud storage.
You need to be organized beforehand.
Okay, that's the ideal situation for any organization. So let's talk about best of both worlds, which is hybrid cloud, and the most ideal situation probably for any organization, which is having on-prem and the cloud solution. So what is that, and what's the advantage and pros, cons?
Well, the ideal situation, of course, depends on what kind of data a company needs to process. Today, we live in a world where a company needs to manage multiple sets of data, extremely different from each other. They may manage databases, documents, media files, and many others. And some of the data needs to be processed quickly, while others instead requires to be just stored and accessed much time later, just to be kept over time. When you need to process data quickly, of course, you need to take into consideration the latency that we discussed before. And because of this reason, some data you want to process quickly, they can be processed best in an on-premise storage. Well, then you can send the final product in your cloud storage for a long period of time. This is where edge computing comes very in handy. Edge computing means bringing a portion of your cloud infrastructure as close as possible to the source of the data, or at the edge of the network. That's why it's called like that. If we take, for example, the Internet of Things industry, okay? If you notice, we have a lot of smart devices. We have a smart thermostat, smart oven, smart fridges, smart everything. All of these smart devices are producing data. In order for a manufacturer to improve their products and to get precise analytics and to provide a service, you need to harvest that data. You need to process it very quickly. In this case, with an edge computing situation, the data reaches a receiver which is close by. They get processed in that specific portion where they have dedicated server, processing power, and storage, and only the final product gets sent to the bigger data center. This allows for much lower latency, for faster processing, and of course, in the general, better services. This is in the Internet of Things, but maybe, for example, even in the automotive when a company needs to harvest data from the automatic driving, which is one of the main topics today in terms of technology, those data need to be reached in a close location and processed as soon as possible. So again, this is where edge computing and a hybrid infrastructure can be extremely helpful in this kind of situation. And thanks to this, you have also the best of both worlds, because you have much more control on the data that you need the most, and then you store securely only the final product.
And in the digital era, where we are seeing different type of storage, and now we're speaking about hybrid storage, which type of industry do you see mostly using the hybrid storage? Is it the big sharks in the market, like where the companies are huge and high compliance, banking?
Again, depends by the structure of the company in the specific industry, but there are many applications in every industry. I mentioned now Internet of Things, and I mentioned automotive as well. But if you think, for example, healthcare, all those smart trackers, pacemakers, bracelets that need to communicate, even our smartwatch with health control, these can also benefit from edge computing, because they need to transmit data, they need to be processed, and then they need to transmit results. Even in that situation, you can have a benefit from a hybrid infrastructure.
Oh, perfect. That's lovely. And thank you, Gabriele, for sharing such insightful information about where we spoke about on-prem, cloud, and hybrid. It's a very interesting topic. So thank you so much for tuning in our episode today. And we had amazing time sharing our information and our expert advice with you all. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we will talk about new dynamic of cloud storage. We hope you found this episode insightful. For more content, like, share, and subscribe. You can also subscribe to our newsletter at leaseweb.com/newsletter.